I pick up that guitar and it makes me feel better.
Yeah, before it made me wonder if artistic freedom is even possible when you're signed to a label whatsoever, but it is.
Well, and an indie label.
It seems yeah.
So I'll never be on a major label again.
Because artistic freedom isn't possible whatsoever, you believe?
It wasn't for me. It was the experience I had. Unless you've sold millions and millions and millions of records and you're the cash cow for the label, even then I don't even know if you get full creative control, but you probably hold all the cards. For a newer artist like myself, you know, this label mom and pop, I mean, not that people really want to discuss the business of music, but it's a new model. I mean, it's a complete 50-50 partnership. You know, so the revenue that comes in when the record sells, I get just as much money as the label gets, rather than pennies on the dollar. But also when there's tour support and you go on tour and marketing and press and all, radio and all that stuff that labels usually pay for, I pay for half that. So it's 50-50 right down the middle.
And how is that with Columbia? Or
that doesn't exist with major labels.
No. There's no like 80-20 percentage or something like that?
I don't even think it's even close to 20%. I mean, I think when you sell a record on a major label, if they sell it for $10, I think the artist maybe gets like 4 cents or something. I mean, it's a joke, you know? And it's not all about the money, it's more about the principle of it. Because nowadays, with all these vehicles to get your music out there, why do you need a major label anymore? You know?
You can do it by yourself.
You can do it. I put my songs up on MySpace and people all over the world hear them. Or I put out a record and the music supervisor from Grey's Anatomy calls and says, "Can I use that song?" And you're like, okay. Like, what do I need Columbia for?
Yeah, that's a good lesson for other artists.
Well, I think you're seeing the major record companies are being depleted by the minute. They're firing people and firing people and firing people, and they're just the middleman. They don't make music anymore. They don't develop artists anymore. So with the advent of more technology, you have the artist, the person who creates, and then you have the consumer, the person who buys it. And the better the technology and the more it expands, these people get closer and closer and closer together until it's one, until it's, I make music, you listen to it,
you don't
done.
Need no
Why do we need all
mediator.
these people who don't play music and don't do anything but just the middleman?
And, well, last question. Well, last month you toured to UK, back to the beginning, conquering Europe. How did that go? Because I bet it's quite a big step if you're coming from America, where you're in the iTunes overall chart, or #1 and stuff like that. You're coming here, you have to start over. How did that? And you have to set it up all by yourself with your small label, I believe.
Well, I signed with an indie label in the UK, and they have the rights to the record all over the world, outside the United States. So that's a record company called 14th Floor. And they really get this kind of music, you know, like they did Damien Rice and the David Gray record, White Ladder, that sold all those records, and Joseph Arthur and Ray LaMontagne, and, you know, more like real songwriters. People like actually play an instrument and write their own songs and sing them without using auto-tune. And it's not some computer making the music, and just for fields of kids on ecstasy dancing that aren't even listening to the words, you know? There's nothing wrong with that, it's just, I'm interested in songs, you know?
But did UK fall for you easily?
Yeah, the record came out a few weeks ago, it was in the top 10. It was the #2, I'd Rather Be With You is the #2 song on the radio. So it was cool.
So the rest of Europe,
I was pretty surprised. So now the rest of Europe is starting to follow suit. And I was in Belgium yesterday, and the song's all over the radio, and Germany, and I mean, it's just everywhere we go, it's like they release the record and it starts doing really well. And
yeah, it was in a Dutch TV show,
you know?
Yesterday as well, your song.
Oh yeah?
I heard it on the TV.
Oh cool.
Yeah, so it's going good. Okay, thanks a lot.
My pleasure.